Today is Monday, August 7th. Would you mind introducing yourself for the record?
Chief Ranger Lewis Martwee, speaking on the state of the wildlife.
Thank you for your time, Mr. Martwee. Would you mind starting with the populations and their behaviors here in the park?
Oh, well, as a note, we have tagged a few to keep check on their health and location since the area is a bit too dense to accurately count with a plane. We also keep track of herds movement through our trail cams. It's, been a bit weird recently. They've been a bit skittish, but there's nothing I can really comment on the state now, as, we're not supposed to go inside.
Please, stick to the bounds of the question. It'll just make things easier with the log. The longer this goes on, the more annoyed my manager's gonna be with me.
Oh, okay. On a most recent count, there have been, on our most recent counts for our bear population shows a major drop. That goes in the same terms of all the animals that we keep track of. On our last counts, we saw a 40% drop in populations in bears, elk, and deer.
Can you think of anything that could cause that? Maybe signs of predation or poaching that you found? Or possibly an invasive species causing a dip in the population?
The few times that we've sent out rangers to check on the sites where we lost signal, to our wildlife cameras, well, most didn't return. The only one who is still working here and did return that saw what happened is Park Ranger Allison Dwarney. Past that, I've only first-hand accounts of 2 sites where people went missing.
And did you get a report from Miss Dwarney about what she saw?
She's writing it up now. I gave her the last 2 weeks off. Actually, she should be in here later today to give me that report.
I'll keep that in mind. Now, can you tell me about the scenes you saw? Was there anything peculiar about either one?
Well, I had to go on patrol due to my staff starting to leave. The scenes I saw were the 2 that led to the park closing. The first one was about 16 days ago, the other one was 12. The original scene, well, there wasn't much to it. It was a segment of disturbed ground on a path not too far off the main trail. It was just blood and a camera, though. I have been to other missing persons scenes. Hell, I was the one to have the trails closed and investigated. However, for the first time, there was video evidence.
Did you see what was on the tape?
Don't you have access to the tape?
Yes, we just want to know how many people have seen the video. Now, would you please explain what you saw 12 days ago?
Well, 12 days ago marks the day that no one is allowed anywhere near those woods. The nights previous, one group had purchased a lot for camping. Not that surprising due to the time of year, but looking back, I can't help but be thankful that it wasn't more busy. This was the first time bodies were found. There was blood everywhere. Pieces of the group were scattered all around the site, and those in the vehicles were all butchered. All their belongings were either smashed or ripped open.
Ripped open? I have a feeling that you aren't talking about rogue bears after snacks.
I talked to the detective afterwards, and he said that the vehicles would be mentioned as exploding in the report. However, that is far from the truth. Their vehicles were utterly destroyed. Even their RV was pulled apart. While I was there, I couldn't help but feel a piercing gaze of some sort. Felt more than scared at that time.
That sounds like a traumatic experience. Are there any details that you're leaving out? We're at the end of the interview, so any notes or evidence that you want to bring up can be invaluable in understanding what's really happening here.
Well, at the time, I saved photos. I had a camera at the time. I saved photos, but the original camera is put into evidence. I don't know if the police noticed what I had taken pictures of there was evidence of some kind of large reptile. I found only a few tracks of some large creature dotted around the edge of the site in areas that were not walked over after the attack. However, they're comically large.
A reptile? Wait, a large reptile stalks the forest and takes visitors? Ah, well, the tactics would make sense, and the nature of the creature in the video could be argued as reptilian. And we can say that it prefers to ambush its prey, but it has the magnitude to crush vehicles. This means immense strength and intelligence.
That's quite enough. I understand that you might not take me seriously, but don't you go making fun of me. There's enough death for that kind of talk to stay at a distance.
Now finish your fucking recording and get the hell out.
Wait, Mr. Martwi, please, I just have one last question. Do you have any estimate for the size?
Mr. Garfield, would you please stop?
Mr. Martwi, this information can help us stop whatever's out there.
Okay, I don't know much about reptiles past snakes, but I'd say it's gotta be twice as big as any bear I've seen around here.
Well, whatever is happening, I hate to say it, but Trunan's right. This thing is hostile. And as much as I want otherwise, we need firepower. I'll visit here again later today to speak with the other ranger. She could probably help us paint a clear picture about what we're after. Then I'll talk to Trunan about the park and continue the log there so there's no overlap of information.